Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have some very interesting things to talk about, very, let's say, bullish things. And I can already say this, I'm going to show you one indicator, and this is one of the most important indicators, in my opinion, out there, that no one, as far as I have seen right now, scanning the entire YouTube space, is talking about. And this one accounts for Bitcoin as well as the altcoins, as well as the NFT space. And in my opinion, is implying one of the, if not the biggest chance of our lifetimes. But all of that, obviously, right after the intro. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Coffee in the morning, best thing ever. I hope you got your coffees here locked and loaded, as I said before. Guys, do me the favor, smash the like button right now to get more people into the stream. And G-Money is already here. Good morning, PH. Good morning to you, G-Money. I have to say, first of all, that I'm sorry that there was no stream on Friday, no stream on Monday, and that left us with 4 days, basically because of the weekend where I usually do not stream, without a stream. Reason being for everyone is that I have visited over from Brazil. The parents of my girlfriend are here visiting Germany, and I am basically showing my home country to them. So we are extensively traveling, and therefore I try to get in a stream wherever I can. It will be until the end of September, beginning of October, more sporadic. So I'm already sorry for that, but I will try my best whenever there is something good, something important to talk about, that we are doing that. Right away. If there's any big and major news, any things that are changing, then we're talking about this. And I've been thinking the past days about exactly this, what I'm going to show you today. So guys, smash up the like button for this, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, tick the little bell to get notified. Maybe also we can do it like this, that I do the stream, maybe the stream will be a little bit later then, so maybe from now in an hour or so, in the next couple of days, depending on the time when I can come online. But I'm definitely going to continue here, and it will be daily once again. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into the news. Also, I want to quickly thank my rare hodlers, my Patreons here, for supporting me no matter what. So you see all of the rare hodlers, all of the Patreons right there. On the subscriber screen, minted there, and if you want to become a sponsor of this channel, a rare hodler, then you can become a channel member on YouTube here, and therefore come on the subscriber screen. But let's jump right into the news. So here we go. Today I want to start this out with Twitter, and this one is it's, at least it looks a little bit concerning to many of the people. Good morning, Felipe. Felipe has asked for this stream yesterday on another stream on around the Ecomiverse, by the way. So good morning to you as well, Motili. Good morning. So here, this looks somewhat concerning to some of the people. Binance US trading volume in the past 90 days has plummeted to just 934 million, a staggering 96.8% drop from previous 90 days volume of 29 billion. So what is going on with Binance? Why is Binance US going down so hard? Why is the volume why has it died off? And someone says it already here, let's thank the SEC for this, and that's exactly true. Because the SEC rips into Binance US over shaky asset custody and asks court to order inspection, and therefore Binance has halted the transfers of many altcoins, leading to this drop in volume. So the drop in volume is basically because there's nothing to trade and nothing to buy on Binance US. At least a large amount of cryptos is not purchasable at the moment, which is why the volume has dropped off so hard. So the SEC seeks an order compelling BAM to produce documents and communications concerning any entity providing it wallet custody or software and related services, the filing said, referring to BAM's evolving explanation and so on. So, and then CEO overall Binance CEO Zhao has been called out as an individual who views himself outside jurisdiction of any court. The SEC asked the court to reject Binance's half-hearted claims of irrelevance, prejudice, and burden. Here the war against Binance of the SEC is going on, but therefore we have to see that Binance US is just a subsidiary, is just a franchise basically of the global Binance. So this does not affect global Binance as much, maybe in reputation, but not in terms of assets and not in terms of tradable assets. And therefore, the Binance FUD is raging, and this is still a factor to suppress Bitcoin, and it could go all away once the prices are skyrocketing, once the SEC loses more and more cases in the US, and which brings me to let's say this is the negative part, as we always start out, right? But brings me to the bullish part. So look at this. This is the CME Fed Watch tool, and in only 1 day and 12 hours, so 36 hours, we will have our next FOMC meeting and rate hike decision. And we have been discussing this along the last days. Look at this here. There is a 1% chance for a rate hike in the next 36 hours, which is why we are seeing crypto price action in green, right? And this is despite the CPI coming in more negative in the last days. So in the last week, we covered that CPI has been rising, but core inflation has been stable, and we were assuming that this is going to happen, that there will be no rate hike right now, and the chances for a November rate hike are actually have dropped to less than 30%. So you see here, 70% are suspecting the Fed probably not going to do more rate hikes, and we see it also in the economy that the job market is getting weaker and so on. So this is positive news for Bitcoin, and this will weaken the DXY, which is why we're seeing green action in anticipation from Bitcoin. So if we take a quick look at Bitcoin here, just a quick look to see where we are going on green for today. Yesterday we have pumped and almost lost everything in one daily candle, but now we are continuing the green price action. More to this later. Let's look at this. This is also interesting. Breaking news. And guys, by the way, we have already more than 10 people here, 12 people here in the chat. So please smash up the like button as hard as you can, as much as you can, so that we have all those likes already and get more people in here. So Mr. Planet Prophet is here. Good morning to you. Carl is here. Omi, yeah, let's go. And Energy is here with the good morning. If that is what you meant by this. So look at this. Total US debt, $33 trillion. So for the first time in history, US federal debt crosses 33 trillion. Since the debt ceiling crisis, the US has added 1 trillion in debt per month. Over the last 5 years, the US has added a total of 11.5 trillion in debt. At the same time, we are on track for 1 trillion in annual interest expense. interest will soon be the US government's biggest expense, meaning the interest that they pay on this massive credit. Yes, maybe too much, maybe not. We will see. Andrew's here. Good morning as well. The hang loose. Hey, so here, what does this mean? This means that also the quantitative tightening that the Fed is doing right now, the interest rate hikes that the Fed is doing right now, it cannot continue all the time, because at some point we will have to see quantitative easing, more money printing to service this, that, and to service the interest rates. Other than that, the US would have default on their debt as at some point, because only by the gross domestic product they cannot service this debt. The US has a spending problem. They will have to cut spending at some point in certain areas of the US, but overall they will have to turn on the money printer to support other parts of the economy, to create growth that then can service this debt, and that is where prices will skyrocket once again. 11 p.m. West Coast, USA. Let's go. Party now, party all the time. Yo, let's go, have a nice party there. Probably not coffee time, but we still enjoy these streams, right? So yeah, let's go. So another one here. Just 3%, and this is where I want to come to what is different right now, and this is not the indicators yet, that is the big indicator that I want to show you. So currently, just 3.3% of mortgages in the US are delinquent, but how mortgage rates are at a 20-year high. So, right, the answer to this question is that 90% of borrowers have rates below 5%, and many have fixed rates for the next, 10 years, right? So this is why we're not in a 2008 style housing bubble, at least yet, right? But we are not in a housing bubble, despite prices increasing, despite 90% of borrowers having large credits that they have to service. Most borrowers have historically low rates and payments on a real basis. So those people that are in the market and are claiming that there is a big housing bubble coming, no, we have very few delinquent rates, and potentially if the Fed is done hiking rates, or if there's only a little bit more coming and they are holding for another couple of months, then that's it. And these people that are holding right now are going through this without a scratch. Now, what is happening though is that new credits are not being picked up because of the high interest rates, and at the same time there's no saving rates on the other side. So that means that probably the problems are delayed into the future in other sectors, like for example real estate, construction, raw resources use, and so on. But still, since the prices are so high, and the what is that? I'm missing the word now. Like monthly payments for apartments are still probably a rentable or a returning business. They will continue. Now, let's come to Bitcoin, because this is super interesting. Quietly, while everyone is flooding in the space, the long-term holder supply is nearing its all-time high, breaking the all-time high. And this has not even happened in the beginning of the last bull market. So what we're seeing right now is, look at this, when this supply, long-term holder supply, is ramping up to new levels. We had our parabolic move in 2 bull runs ago. And once the parabolic move is happening and long-term holders are starting to take profit, these things are falling off, right? So what we see is that this long-term holder supply is increasing, should be leading in the next 2 to 3 months to a start of our parabolic move, because this is very long periods of time that we are looking at, right? But look at this. 75.8%. If this increases one more bit, we are at all-time highs for this, with a price action or with a price holding way above the levels when this happened the last time. So we have seen a lot of things that are lining up already for Bitcoin there. But let's look at more. Look at this, for example. The number of addresses holding more than one Bitcoin has passed 1 million and is now time and time again putting in new all-time highs according to Glassnode. This is 1,021,000 Bitcoin holders with more than one coin, meaning that the distribution of Bitcoin is continuing and is going on, meaning that Bitcoin is more and more being scattered out through the wallets, because obviously these are not all wallets that are adding from 0 to 1,000. These are more and more wallets that are passing through DCA these specific levels, and that means that Bitcoin is spread out more and more, and that means that the supply shock, once it happens, will be heavier and heavier, because there are not enough whales anymore dumping, but there are whales requesting or demanding Bitcoin. 20 people already in here. Smash up the like button as hard as you can. I'm really happy that we get to do these streams in any and every situation. So let's go. And we have obviously very, very interesting stuff here in front of us. Now, why is this happening? So as you can see here in this chart from Plan B, this is the Bitcoin stage basically indicator, where we can see that the blue is the accumulation phase, where whales are accumulating and hopefully we are accumulating crypto, specifically Bitcoin. And as we can see here, we are in this blue phase probably a couple of months more until the next halving, and then it's going into the green phase, which is stage 2 bull market, right, as you see here. And that is when the first dot will turn green, and that is when accumulation for whales is over, and that is when the general public will only realize what's going on. That is when the people that have been shaken out of this market during the bear market, during the FTX collapse. Let's recap what happened, right? Terra Luna got hit by a stablecoin dump, depegged, crashed completely, went down in flames. Many people wrecked on Terra Luna because they thought that the bull market is in a mega super cycle going on forever, right? And then Celsius collapsed, Voyager collapsed, FTX collapsed. Many people wrecked on other exchanges. So many things, and these are people shaken out of the market, but also people that could not withstand the extensive sideways actions that followed it, people that thought that this time crypto will go to zero. Every one of these people is shaken out of the market, and we can prove it. Look at this, and this is what I meant in the beginning by the most important indicator here, in my opinion, is this here. And let me get my face out of the way, chat can stay. And we have Real J Fox here, and Green Lantern HD, Dr. Knut from Heidelberg. Let's go. Good morning. Everyone is here. More than 20 people. Smash up the like button if you like this stream so far. Here's the thing. I have put into Google Trends, and everyone at home can do this all the time on your own, right? So look at this. Bitcoin worldwide, it's in German, but I translated for you. Worldwide trend over the last 5 years, search trend on Google, right? Actually, I think I can put my face somewhere here, maybe, so I don't, or like this, do it like this. So you see here the indicator, right? And now when we are looking at this, we have our parabolic run up was here, right? Where the search term indicator marked a 10 for Bitcoin. So let's prove this right now. This was at 27th of September to 3rd of October 2020. the parabolic run started, right? So that is, yeah. Oh, that is Bitcoin. So here we go, right? So let's zoom out of Bitcoin. Let's maybe get rid of all the lines. And let's look at where our parabolic run started. There we go. Oh, look at that. 27th of September to 3rd of October. That's right here. That's right here. Okay, so that is where the movement, where basically people started searching in this parabolic move for Bitcoin, meaning that the massives got caught off guard by this move. And then Bitcoin already rallied. Look at this, November. Bitcoin had this massive parabolic move. Here's it into this December, right? So let's look at this move. For almost 100% move. Bitcoin doubled almost in price there, and then people were aware. But what I want to show you, and what the most important thing in my opinion is here, look at where we are right now. We are with Bitcoin search interest at the lowest point that we have seen. So look at this. 16 is right now, this is the lowest point that we ever had since our Bitcoin peak, since the Bitcoin top. And the highest search term we had when we had the second Bitcoin top, the false top, so to say. I cannot even mark it here when it was exactly, oh, there we go. It was a 100, right? So the biggest search volume that we had was 16th to 22nd of May. So that is when we had our parabolic move. So right now, here before that, from the last market, we had been moving. Here was a big search. This was 100 before, until it had been shadowed by the last run, right? But then we have been dropping to around 10, 11, 10, and now here before the parabolic move once again. Now we have been going to 17, 17, 18, 17, and now we have dropped to 16. So Bitcoin interest is absolutely in the gutter right now, meaning for me that is probably when I want to accumulate, right? And let's compare this also to altcoins, right? So Ethereum, it was probably the most searched altcoin in that space, or maybe we can even use something like Cardano. But if you look at this, for example here, you see that interest, when this happened, interest was at 2 when Bitcoin was at 11, right? And then it didn't surge, but Bitcoin already surged. But the altcoins here, they only surged a little bit in interest. And only when we topped out for Bitcoin first time, altcoins sparked. So here you see at the indicator right there, I will answer this in a second, Harbinger, but you can see here that the that altcoins only really had their search interest peak when we had the second top for Bitcoin. That was when we had a massive altcoin season, because Bitcoin had already topped out. So this is very, very interesting, and it kind of gives you also a timeline for altcoins and a timeline for when accumulation is best. And now we see that, for example, for altcoins, we are also at a very, very low point. We are hitting our lowest point with only a 3, like when before we rallied here was a 2. Now, Harbinger just asked, if I may translate, what does it mean on the y-axis? Is this an absolute number? It's not. It's basically putting search volume into relation. So whenever search volume for a term in a given time frame is the highest ever recorded, it automatically gets a 100, and everything else is put into a perspective. So when we were only here, this was the 100, where we had the 31, where we have in relation now a 31 to 3 in the previous bull market. So meaning that probably this 100 will be dwarfed in the next bull run by user search term interest. So there will be millions and more millions of users searching for Bitcoin on Google to see what is going on with the news. For example, let's say we have a 100% rally in a couple of days. Everyone will type in Bitcoin and trying to figure out why this happened, because probably by then the mainstream news will start reporting on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes from 30 to 60,000 in a couple of days or even a week or so, then we will have a new 100 in search terms, and therefore we also have to put this into relation, because if this is a 100 and the last bull market looked like this, we could be at the lowest interest with a 16, right? Because there are more content creators, there are more people reporting, right? So Carl says, what if you put in Veve or Omi on the Google trend chart? Yeah, exactly. So probably if I put Ecomi, it will not appear at all. If I we can put it in the end, not as a comparison, but the third comparison that I would make anyways right now is NFT, because it's very interesting to compare NFTs to this as well, worldwide over the last 5 years. So the yellow line, I hope you can see this. Maybe I can get this a little bit bigger here for you. So the yellow line, get my face completely out of the way. The yellow line is NFTs. And as you can see here, NFTs was non-existent, the search volume, before that parabolic move. And even in the parabolic move, and when Bitcoin already topped out here, it was not existent. And then in February 2021, NFT search volume started, right? And then it dropped off again. There was a little spark. And only after altcoins and Bitcoin already have topped out, also in prices, the NFT rally surged. So you can expect, in my opinion, and I've made this point already in one of my videos, which is called the NFT bull run, when it will come back, you can make the point that NFTs will only have their season after Bitcoin and altcoins already topped out. And we see also that from whale action, that whales are, yes, they are accumulating in NFTs, but they're more focused on getting their money into Bitcoin and crypto right now. And what we need to see for NFTs, according to this, is that for Veve NFTs, is that we have crypto pay and ready when these top out. When Bitcoin and altcoins top out, we need to have crypto pay and ready. So let's say Bitcoin tops out in 2025, in the beginning of 2025, let's say Bitcoin tops out, right? Then we will have, according to this, because this is the real Bitcoin top right here, right? So January. Then we will have in May altcoin peak, like the altcoin. So let's say Bitcoin tops out in January, or in the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, Bitcoin tops out. Then we would have another 5 months until altcoins top out, and then from there we would have another 8 months or so until we top out on NFTs, right? So that is, in my opinion, and you can do that, as I said before, you can do this analysis at home. You can see when interest is coming back. But looking in retrospect, we can learn a lot about the cycle from there, right? So you see here, really, if you compare this to the Bitcoin chart, like you have to run up, first dump, a little dump after like correction, retracement, and then another parabolic run, correction, and the fifth wave leading to the peak. And we can even see exactly that price action in the Google trend. We have here the first run up, correction, run up, correction, peak, correction, right? So whenever Bitcoin is down massively, interest goes away. People just don't want to know about this anymore, right? So and this is why I say here there's some interest coming in at times, but Bitcoin, really, before that parabolic move, interest has been absolutely in the gutter. 10, 2, and less than 1 for NFTs, right? Bitcoin 10, Ethereum 2, and NFTs. So I take Ethereum for this analysis because it basically was the most searched altcoin probably. And then you look at this, and we see really here that interest has been coming back on one more time on the 12th to 18th of June. And that was, I think that was without looking at the chart when FTX had collapsed, because everyone Googled what has happened to Bitcoin. So this might have been an outlier. Let's check this. Or was that already when the bear market rally came? No, that was already when, look at this, it's perfect. It works perfectly, because that was, I think it works perfectly. Let me see. So this was June 22. So it is not our bear market bottom. Let me see. Yeah. So it was, look at this, June 22. It was exactly when we had the FTX, the Voyager FTX, I think FTX was maybe here, but the big collapse, like one of the biggest collapses, and then a relief rally. Everyone was searching what is going on to Bitcoin price action. So that was the last spike, which didn't even come close to bull market action. And then we have ourselves coming out. And now this is the most boring time for people, apparently, according to this, right? The most boring time. That is when I want to buy. So for me, this is one of the most important indicators to buy. And I'm getting myself into position for all three of them, right? I'm not leaving the altcoins out because I want to take also these rallies in the altcoins. Instead, I'm stacking some altcoins. That said, let's look at the markets a little bit. Let's start with the top 100 here and do some market watch. How the market is behaving right now. So we see maybe on the daily, we see some green price action. Hex is up 7%. Everything is green except some coins that are correcting. But if we look at the week, we had a really strong week. Look at this, beautiful to see VeChain up 20%. I think a lot of you guys like VeChain. Rune is up 23%. Solana 10%. Ton 42% leading the charge. Chainlink up 14%. The Graph 10%. I have both of these Oracle projects, Chainlink and the Graph. So really good to see that the altcoins are making some moves. But if you look at the monthly, we are still mixed on the monthly. There are still, I think, good deals in the market, but maybe we want to wait for another corrective move, another red move, if we want to buy some altcoins, get ourselves into position. And very interesting will be, in my opinion, altcoins that have been born in the bear market and never had a parabolic move. So this is obviously not the recommendation, but I do not hold any just yet, but I'm looking at stuff like Arbitrum, for example, to not only purchase coins that have been doing well in the last bull market, but also purchase some altcoins that have never experienced a bull market before. So I think Arbitrum is one of them, if I recall it right. And there will be coins that are going to be born just right now, that are going to be launched into this upcoming bull market. So if you can see here already, for example, Injective Protocol is already up 300% year over year. Casper is up 1000%, Render 250%. I was lucky to catch this move with a little bit of money, and now it's a moonbag. So I took out my initial investment already on Render, and now I will just let this ride into the next altcoin season and see what happens. But overall, I think there will be tons of chances, and right now when interest is so low, I think that's the point where we want to accumulate them. And yes, there could be, so for example, how could this look like, right? For example, very little money, very little funds, for example. Let's say you don't have really much funds, but how could this look like? You choose an altcoin project, you research it, you see that it's down, but you expect it to go up pretty good. And let's say you buy $50 of this project, right? And then it corrects more because you cannot time the bottom on this altcoin project. Then it corrects more, and let's say it's only worth 30. So you could say, okay, you put another $20, bring it up to $50 once again, right? And then it corrects a little more and you purchase more. It's like have a DCA plan into this whenever it goes into into this flow, right? So this could be a strategy for accumulating a specific altcoin or a basket of altcoins. But let's say then after a while you're starting out at a DCA and your bag is like a couple of $100 and this thing that does 100x. Will this change your life, right? Is this life changing? Let's say you have $500 and it makes you it's no guarantee. It could be a 10x, right? Then it's you have a $5,000 out of $500 or so. But if one of these coins runs and does a 50, 100 or even more x, which is absolutely possible for some of these projects, you have to see, obviously, that a $1 billion market cap will not do a 100x more likely than not. But if it's like, let's say 10, 20 million market cap, or even 4 or 5 million market cap, and you're really convinced that this project is absolute king and no one has discovered it yet, why not give it a shot with a couple of $100, right? So this is just my 2 cents on this. This is what I am doing. And hey, can this go wrong? Yeah, sure. There's the chance of 100% loss. Be aware of this. There is a chance of 100% loss of these $500 or these $100 or these $50. But that's what is happening in this space. That's where we have our risk reward ratio is like that, right? Some of these I've already purchased projects where it's now 0%, right? So you lose some, you win some. But anyways, let's look at Bitcoin here quickly. So you see that we said at the worst we would expect Bitcoin to drop down here, and now we have Bitcoin coiling up, and this is very good to see because, as I outlined before, Bitcoin has held this level, and this is very important for me to see that this is becoming a very strong support, and this could actually hopefully be it. So if we can hold this over the rest of September, and October is a strong month, then we could break through these. I mean, we see here we got very hard rejected on this area of the moving average, and what we want to see now is rally through this and get above this once again and form a new structure where we could approach this massive overhead resistance. Ultimately, we need to approach this once again and break through, because this is the biggest overhead resistance that Bitcoin had in the entire lifetime. This is the overhead resistance of the previous bear market, and simultaneously this is the previous support of the entire bull market. So this is what needs to be broken, right? So as you can see here, this is the biggest confluence that you can find for Bitcoin. Here we have overhead resistance, smashed our head 2 times, and we need to knock on this door, this trap door, basically, before. It was also when we flushed through it, hit our head, that we formed our bear market trough. So this is the most important one, and we want to have Bitcoin coiling up to test it once more, which would be the 3rd test, and probably lining up to our parabolic move if we break it. So what could happen, in my opinion, here is that we come up, test, come up, go a little bit sideways, test, get rejected once more a little bit just, and then we are already in the end of the year, and then let's say this extends to the end of the year, get our Bitcoin ETF approved, and boom, we are out, right? So that could be one catalyst that leads to this. Bitcoin ETF approved, and then we are out even before the halving. As some people suggest, we could be going to 40 something thousand even in the end of the year. It's not out of the cards. So if this happens and we do some consolidation here, then some altcoins will already make big moves, which is why for me the absolute timeline for me personally, this doesn't mean that it's you, but for me personally, is that I want to accumulate as much as I can until Christmas, until New Year, somewhere before this whole thing could go down with the Bitcoin ETFs. But that is just how I view the market right now. Yes, obviously we had the death cross, right? But the death cross didn't do anything. It just shows us that we have corrected heavily here after a run, and I think that it will not take long. If we really rally here, it will not take long for us to form another bullish cross, and then we should be out. That said, let's look quickly at the dollar. Will the dollar help us? We are still on the rise for the dollar, and that usually suppresses Bitcoin price action, right? So if the dollar gets stronger, price action of Bitcoin is weaker. But we cannot forget that this is an uptrend, right? And the moment these uptrends, I mean, this could go on, right, like this, but at some point we will lose this trend line and form a new and top out for the DXY. So it could be here, it could take another month or so, but overall what we need to see is that the macro downtrend is intact, as the micro downtrend has been broken, right? We had a downtrend here and this has been broken. Now we have an uptrend here and we want to break it. Overall, we do not want to see something like this, where we are just going on a tear for another year. That would be really bad for crypto, because risk on assets respond inverse to this chart. So also something that you can do at home, that you can do together with me, analyze this movement and see what's happening. But with a pause in rate hike and potentially quantitative easing coming back, and potentially coming into election year, right? Or not potentially, but coming into election year where spending is high, the dollar could lose value. And if that happens, it's on. We have seen that when these major drops happen, Bitcoin is going absolutely crazy. Major drop happened here, Bitcoin bottom. Major drop here, Bitcoin rally, right? So what we want to see is a major drop here and Bitcoin goes absolutely crazy, right? So drop, losing this level, boom, Bitcoin season, in my opinion. Let's see if the Nasdaq made it out. I don't think so. Yeah, the Nasdaq that didn't make it out here, out of this downtrend that we have been observing for the past 2 to 3 weeks. So Nasdaq is also, and this is also a higher correlation, forming an absolute mega downtrend at the moment. Also a trend line that we want to see broken, and that's on a macro scale. What we want to see here is that after losing this trend line, that the Nasdaq can, after consolidating here, go crazy, right? Also depends on the DXY. So, with that said, let's get to Ecomi, our favorite altcoin, right? And the retracement that we are seeing right now. And actually, what we are seeing, so we had our target here to come down. We have been coming down a little bit more, and potentially, and this is important, we can see that we are heading down towards maybe, in the worst case, I would say, towards this level. And funny thing is that this moving average, the long-term moving average, that has suppressed OMI for, look at this, so the 200 has suppressed basically Ecomi for the longest time being in the bear market. Now we are out, we formed the bullish cross, and now we are above it. So it could give support for Ecomi here. So what we want to see is Ecomi curving out like this and coming back up. And I think there is a high likelihood that this happens. So this is absolutely beautiful price action, right? So we cannot be sad about this. We want to see this like this curving out, maybe coming a little bit lower, gives us time for 2 to 3 months more accumulation on Ecomi. Maybe down to this level, but this is a good level to ladder into DCA in my opinion. Look at this. If this would play out like this into the end of the year, and you would have this like left shoulder, head, right shoulder, boom, right? Massive rally. Or cup, handle, boom, massive rally. I think this could be happening from a TA perspective. from a fundamental perspective, it needs just some stuff delivered for Ecomi, some more utility for Ecomi. But do you see what I'm telling? This would be basically, guys, this would be basically, if this were to play out, and this, don't take this as a certainty, but if this would play out like an inverse head and shoulders, wait a second, I need to go, I'm still in logarithmic, right? Oh no, I'm not. Okay, so we can do this. Let's see if this plays out. If this plays out, and this needs to be confirmed, so basically we need to all of this trajectory until this neckline, and then break this neckline. Otherwise, this is not confirmed. This is just us being creative, right? But let's just take a measured move and say we break somewhere here. That would take Ecomi, this breakout would take Ecomi roughly to 1.7 cents. So that would basically double the price, right? From the breakout. No, not quite, but would give a 70% rally or so on breakout. So yeah, what we want to see is that we want to curve out here somewhere at this level. We do not want to drop into a new low, and we want to have Ecomi to form such a mega bullish pattern, right? So yeah, in my opinion, this could happen. And if we look at it from a logarithmic standpoint, obviously that pattern also is here, and we see that our breakout of this wedge worked perfectly, and now it seems that we are out, that we are already in a bullish, that we have bottomed out for Ecomi here, and we are already in a bullish move. And here are our two big resistance targets. And if you were to measure the move, let's say you DCA in right now, and it goes back to all-time high, you would have a staggering 13x on your money. So every and this is not a recommendation to buy, don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying that if you go in here, it goes back to all-time high, you have a 13x on your money. So that every $100 would be 1.3k, right? So every DCA of $100 would turn into 1.3k if you take profit on the all-time high. And we will do this together in the sense of motivate us together to take profit. So each and every one of you guys have to come here in the chat and say, hey, patient hodler, did you already take profits? Man, you have to take profits, right? So because it will be very, very hard if this happens, like we go on a moon mission here and something like that. It will be very, very hard against all of the people to take our profits, to lock in our profits. Many people will not do it. Many people will cry and scream and say, when we take profit here, this is, no, you're stupid, don't do it, why do you take profit, you sold Omi, you like Omi to $1, right? But we will have to take our profits. 1.7 cents with 220 million Omi. We will see Jordan streaming from his swimming pool. Yeah, Jordan will be going completely nuts on this. Sad that he isn't here yet, but in the stream. But I hope he sees this afterwards. But I mean, look at this. This would be such a beautiful chart pattern, man. So yeah, this is what we hope for Ecomi. But obviously we know that things can go wrong in these markets. There could be a black swan and rip us down, and then we are all sad and we have to form a new chart pattern. Obviously then we will have even better entry prices, but we have to see that more likely than not we are out. So we are looking at bullish patterns right now. And you see, for example, that in a bull market, the RSI, see this down below here, the RSI is usually 40, is already oversold in a bull market. So if we consider ourselves in a bull market, we are almost there, right? We are almost there on the RSI, and there's also an uptrend here on the RSI. As we can see, there's an uptrend. Yeah, so for example, like something like this, there is an uptrend for the RSI, or from here you see it, yeah, something like that. What we want to see is that we get at some point. Actually, we don't want to see this so much, but we want to see this, right? So that the RSI goes up slowly while price action is going up. So first of all, curving out and then going up. Yeah, that's what we want to see. Like here, that's what we want to see. Big rounding bottoms. We want to see. Okay, there we go. Big rounding bottoms. So let's talk quickly about the NFTs. So this is interesting. Solana made headlines here. Solana's NFT marketplace beats the whole NFT industry on Ethereum. Solana's leading NFT marketplace is making waves, boasting nearly as many daily traders as all Ethereum-based NFT platforms combined. This is not just a fluke, it's a testament to the unique synergy between Solana's user-friendly, cost-effective blockchain and the ever-popular world of NFTs. Why is this a big deal? Solana's blockchain is not just fast, it is also incredibly accessible. Combine that with NFTs, which have a universal appeal, and you've got a recipe for mass adoption. While Ethereum NFT marketplaces are still performing well, the sheer volume of activity on Solana's top NFT platform should make anyone sit up and take notice. So I think it's worth analyzing Solana. Don't expect Solana to go back to all-time highs, but I think that if Solana can do well, I think there are big returns expected on Solana as well, if this performance continues, because I mean, Solana had last bull run, Solana had real big problems, or even in the bear market, with outages, and then also Solana has been blown, like it was a huge bubble, so the Solana price has been gone up by FTX manipulation, completely got wrecked with the collapse of FTX. So very important stuff here. Then let's look at our favorite NFT project, Veve, because there is a crafting event going on Veve, and I really want to know your opinion about this, because I think that I mean, it's just a recoloring of these collectibles. I don't have any Sesame Street collectibles. I don't think that this is specifically something where mass market collecting is going on. So I'm sticking to Marvel Comics that has a huge collector base. But I mean, some people are doing that. Some people are collecting. Some people are crafting. So I just want to make you aware there is a crafting event going on for the Sesame collectibles. If you have been out for a while and not seen that, that has been going on. Then we have this comic here coming up, or these comics. So there is basically drops now, almost every day, right? So I think we have on Thursday, on Friday we have Aladdin drop. So we have this X Factor comic coming up. I don't think that it is worth that much. We have a Yoda comic coming up, so that is very interesting. This is tomorrow, so this looks really good. So there's the Yoda comic coming, Star Wars Yoda, right? And you see the secret rares. Actually, the cover is a photo from episode 6, I think. Could be wrong, but I think it's episode 6. So the super classic Yoda. I can imagine with all the Yoda fans that especially the secret rare will do well. That's Yoda number 1, so maybe could be interesting too. And let us look at the Felipe says bought the set because really low price and both secret rare. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is the thing. I think they're ranging at 39 and 51 at the moment. They are extremely scarce, maybe, or not extremely, but they are relatively scarce. So yeah, if you are a fan, then obviously that makes sense. So that's also a very cool cover, right? Look at this. That is a cool cover. I think all of these covers have something. So look at this Yoda here, jumping into action. That is really cool. Then this Yoda cover, this uncommon, it will probably perform worse than all the others, but I have to say, I really love these covers. This cover looks awesome. with the Yoda silhouette in there, but it will underperform. So I'll probably buy this one on the market if I don't get it on drop. And then this one here is, yeah, I think that's the least attractive to me, just because of the way it's like it's too much of the fire. Yoda is not really in the focus, so maybe the rare even doesn't do so well. But this is absolute nuts. This variant is so cool. I really want this one. And then this is obviously absolute nostalgia, absolute classic. And yeah, I think I want the secret rare, so if I get this one on drop, I will be really happy. And you see the total editions are 6,000, so it's not that much, only 150 of this Yoda variant there. Yeah, I think this could be really, really good. So guys, one more time, please smash up the like button if you enjoy this, and if you like what we've been discussing today. Please do me the favor. And obviously then we have the Aladdin drop also coming up, Diamond in the Rough. Another one for the pencil. I think this could be the last pencil or so. I don't know, for this Disney crafting desk. So we have the genie here, which is going to be animated in sound. The animation is really cool. If you haven't seen it yet. And then we also have the Aladdin as an ultra rare, and then Jasmine as the secret rare. I will participate in this drop, I think. Makes sense, because all of these are probably sought after collectibles. Drop price is 40 gems. We have seen on Lion King that some people haven't been able to hit, probably because of bots and stuff like that. And some people have like gotten 3 or 4. I hope they fix this for this drop, but yeah. Tell us, Dork Slayers this morning. Sometimes pop here to listen what's going on. Wonder, are you following Earth 2 project, and what kind of thoughts you have about it? I have not been following Earth 2. I know that Randy is big on Earth 2. I know that this is something like a play to earn game, and that there are these essences that are supposed to have value. But I'm not into I'm not too much into gaming, just because that I think that games have a very short attention span, and also a very short life cycle and very limited use. So I'm looking more on layer 1 crypto, layer 2 scaling solutions that are very successful, like Polygon, and then also at projects like, for example, Ecomi Veve, that are games are just not in my focus. It's like the same like Illuvium. In the bull market, Illuvium was the next thing, like hyped as Pokemon and stuff like that. And in the bear market, you just didn't really hear about them anymore. And I wonder how Illuvium will do in the next bull run, if they have news. Okay, whenever they release a white paper, I'll inform you anyway. Yeah, let us know for sure. So all this time they did not release a white paper? Is that what you're saying? Because I know I've heard about Earth 2 already in the bull run, I think. Yeah, but anyways, when there is a white paper, let me know. Then we can look at it. But yeah, I'm not convinced yet. Convince me. Ergo is a L1 monster under a radar. It's like Bitcoin 2.0, just compared to the on-chain activity to bigger projects. Ergo is L1 monster. Okay, so I will look at it. I will take note there for Ergo. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Let me see if I can pull up a note here. I will take a note here. Ergo. I think someone a while ago shilled something like elephant thingy. ergo L1. I will put in. I will start doing the some looks into altcoin recommendations that you guys have, to look at it, because some of you are really good connected. Obviously, there are also people coming to the stream that are just chilling their altcoin project, but overall, yeah, that is it. Okay, guys, 1 hour into the stream, I think I will end it here today. One more time, please smash up the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, tick the little bell if you to get always notified, and be aware that I will be streaming less frequent in within these next 2 weeks. I will try to make some morning live streams happening. However, due to traveling, it's a little bit more infrequent. I'm very sorry for that, but it has to be. And I will be back on the daily streams in October. From I think from 5th of October, it will continue in the normal way. But until then, stay tuned for more morning streams. Have a great day, PH. Have a great day to you as well. You as well, Crazy Dan. Thank you so much, guys, for participating. Smash a like, subscribe. Don't forget to tune in on the next possibility. And wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I see you in the next Crypto Morning Coffee stream or in the next video.